What's going on, all my wishful thinkers? You're tuning in with Nick. This is a one-on-one edition. Me, the camera, you, one-on-one. And the purpose of this is just kind of work through what I'm going. I have a lot of business things going on, and I want to work through on camera so you guys can see my point of view and see my thought process behind it. No Hadley, no guest, nothing. This is just a new series I'm going to do. Again, this is the wishful thinking one-on-ones. So I guess we'll begin with the podcast, right? I mean, that's why we're here. Working with Scott, who was on our first episode, Scott Terranova, the owner of SPE and Cufflink. He has a huge studio. He's got a ton of equipment. He's got a lot of things there that could help WTP grow. And Scott's actually going to be dropping his own podcast, and I'm going to be co-hosting it with him. We worked out a deal where WTP is going to get an upgrade. We're going to get a big studio. We'll probably have, I like to say 10xing our equipment. We'll have good lights. We'll have multiple different camera angles. We'll have a nice setup. Because right now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is out of my house. I know this looks like a studio, but I built this at my house, and this has been getting the job done so far. And but we're always trying to grow, always trying to improve. And so I think that having this partnership with Scott is going to be huge because, one, we're 10xing our equipment. But more importantly, we are increasing our capabilities and broadening our team and having more softwares, more help, more everything. So a lot of big stuff on the way here. We'll talk about it more on a different episode, but that's the podcast, okay? We're going to keep interviewing people. We're going to document our lives, trying to make some money out here, just trying to get to that next level. I'm not going to give up, so why should you? I think that's going to be a good quote for this podcast is, if I'm not giving up, why should you? And I'm going to show you guys here one-on-one what we're going through. So that's the podcast. I'm not going to talk about it too much because we have regular podcast episodes where this will get, and I'll release a video talking about the studio and everything, so more on the way. So now let's get into landscaping. So the landscaping has very quicker than I expected, would blow up. I chose an industry where I can take my business knowledge. I know how to do sales, marketing, finances, budgeting. I can do all the business stuff. That's what I've been doing as a job for the last 5 years. I have my business associate's degree. I've taken courses. I've learned a ton. I've managed in every single role that I've been in. I just learned a ton. So I wanted to take that white collar mindset and pair it with a blue collar trade because the trades are going nowhere. We'll always need people to cut grass. We'll always need people to build houses, people to do whatever. And so I wanted to take my business acumen and apply it to a trade where there's going to be infinite money. And I chose landscaping because it's easier to entry, low startup cost. I don't need a special certificate. Like if I'm going to go be a carpenter, people will want to see my carpentry work. That's a lot of people go to school for that. Landscaping, you can just cut grass. And if you're good at cutting grass, I cut my grass all the time. I've been cutting grass since I was 6. I enjoy it. So we've grown really quickly. Working with a buddy of mine who has a property management company, and they have a little over 60, 80 houses, something like that. And so I partnered with him, and he's become a big chunk of my business. Shout out to Cole Beebe. That guy's a G. But yeah, I mean, that was enough business right there to hire on a full-time guy. So I brought on Hadley's little brother, actually, Hayden, to be a full-time guy to help, with the workload. And we've booked a lot of projects. It is, what's today? Today's April 4th. So we have a painting project next week. We have a mulching and spring cleanup project next week. We'll have another painting project, and then we'll have a 4-day mega mulch project where just through Facebook's ads, I met a guy who needs his whole place redone, new mulch, new edging, trim some trees up, get rid of all the junk. I mean, that's a couple $1,000 job right there. So on top of doing all the DJ stuff, the landscaping is booming, and I'm at a point right now where getting work is not a problem because there's so much work out there, especially as we change seasons. We're already a 6-figure business, and we haven't even hit snow yet, and this is year 1 of landscaping. Just to put it in perspective of how much money the trades can make. So much that I had to hire on another person because I got other stuff going too, so we hired Hayden on, and he's taken on a great role of great deal of stuff here. He's helping me out a lot, and I appreciate him. And of course, he's getting paid for his time, but we're growing, and there's an influx of work where I have more work than I'm able to accomplish on myself, which is why I brought somebody on. But even so, Hayden's gonna be so dedicated to one account that I'm kind of taking the load off of some of the commercial accounts. So right now we're at a point where the work is there. It's a manpower issue. It's an equipment issue. I already have pretty much 2 of a set. I need to get an enclosed trailer, and I need to get a dump trailer. So those are my next to-dos. We're probably going to fabricate my towing trailer, my landscape trailer into a dump trailer. So let's stay tuned. Might do some pods on that, but yeah, we're growing, and I need another truck. I have 2 trucks. We have 2 trucks already. I need another truck. I need a new plow. So there's tons of work. There's tons of stuff I need to buy. We're just in a lull of coming off of winter, going into spring, where it's not really landscaping time, and we're kind of waiting like another week till everything hits, and then I assume next week and for the rest of the summer we'll be flowing extremely heavy cash wise. It's just we just had these storms, tornadoes, and rain and all this other stuff, and it kind of put a damper on our launch week. So we're going into the second week of April with a ton of work and ton of optimism. Main goals to grow this business, I believe, is just to scale it. In order to scale it, need more work. Work's there, so I need more equipment, more team. So the first month, 2 months, 3 months of the landscaping season, it's going to be a lot of work, and then a lot of saving, a lot of retaining funds, not really spending a lot unless I need to. And then come 3-4 months later, we'll drop some money on a nice trailer. We'll drop some money and get the dump trailer changed. We'll maybe buy another zero turn. That'll allow us to attack larger and more clients. And then from there, going into winter, we're gonna try to do some Christmas lights installations, because that's what my uncle does really well. And Christmas lights installations, those are high scale commercial straight lines, C9 bulbs, the good stuff. If you go in these richer neighborhoods, everybody has them. And if you get good with the neighborhood, you could do like 5 or 6 houses in a row. And it's big money. You sell them on a lease basis, 2 or 3 years. So we're going to try to do that in the fall. Of course, fall cleanups, leaf removals, the whole 9 yards. But the biggest thing that'll change the game in the winter will be those Christmas lights. Of course, we're going to be doing snow removal. I personally like snow removal. That's why I hire people to do it. Landscaping is more my bread and butter, but it makes money and it gives work to the guys during the winter times, so that's why we do it. And of course it makes money, but yeah, I mean, so that's going to be pretty much the year of landscaping, is just trying to buy more equipment, maybe hire somebody else on later in the year, ramping it up, scaling it up, and that all can be possible with more business, so more business, more equipment, more team. So that's our goal. We're going to try to break 150,000 this year as a first year. Possibly get another truck, for sure getting it in a closed trailer, for sure modifying my landscape trailer with no walls into somewhat of a enclosed open top dump trailer, mainly just for clean outs and stuff. So and a zero turn. So that's the landscaping stuff. It's going to kind of fund itself. I'm not pulling profit from it whatsoever. All the money that I do make is going right back into the business. More equipment, tools, supplies and materials. I also want to get some branding this year. I mean, I have stickers. You see the little landscaping sticker on these guys right here, but I want to get t-shirts for my guys, hoodies for my guys, get some of the vehicles wrapped. So we need to make the money. There's a lot we got to do. We're going to do it. We're going to show you. But this is just me thinking of all the stuff I have to do to be able to grow that. And I just want to explain it to you guys so you guys know what's going on for the whole year, It's good stuff though. I'm excited. It's making a lot of money. It's got so much potential. Sometimes I run into a problem where it's like, okay, this landscaping is booming, right? Do I just focus all my attention on the landscaping and just disregard everything else? That's the way people traditionally do it, unless you're Elon Musk and you run 10 companies and the government, but it's like most people just go hard at one thing and they go hard at it until it finally breaks. And that's ideal. And it does work more often than not if you really give something your complete all. But I like to think that everything I'm doing kind of coincides with each other. So it's not like I'm trying to open a flower shop and in a grocery store. I'm not in 2 different markets. I do real estate on the background. So this is our second property we're living in. We have 2 properties. One's a duplex in Lakewood, rental, fully rented out, beautiful place, prime location. That thing's making some money, of course. If the numbers don't make sense in real estate, then don't buy it. It's that simple with real estate. If the numbers make sense, buy it. Doesn't matter if the house costs a lot. If you could rent it for a lot and make a profit on it, who really cares, So we have the rental property, and we bought this house in Parmo that we're living in currently. The goal is to be out of this house, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe not early, spring next year. But We're going to buy another house somewhere in the country, get some land, get some space, get a bigger driveway, because that's a huge thing. But then this Parma house will become a rental, and then we'll stay in our country house. I call it the country house because I want to do a lot of things like chickens, farm, make it a little sustainable, little compound, So we'll stay in the country house for a little bit. We'll always keep these 2 houses. This will turn into a rental, and then we'll stay at the country house and just keep buying more rentals, keep fueling the real estate. But the thing with real estate is, guys, is real estate is not going to make you rich overnight. I don't care what anybody says. The only way it will is if you are already rich and you have a bunch of money to buy a bunch of properties, because they all take money to make them, to buy them, So even when you're doing 3% down or 0% down, if you have a USDA loan, if you move to a qualifying zip code with a USDA loan, you can qualify for 0% down. Huge little tidbit. That's what we're going to do for our next one, 0% down. You can get a decent interest rate also, but you could do 3.5% on an FHA. You could do 5% down on a conventional single family. You could do, 15, 10, sometimes 20, for an investment property, or a DSCR loan. Let's say your debt to income ratio is how much debt you have out compared to how much income you're making. And the banks generally want you to stay around a certain number. Just depends on the banks. If your DTI is too high, then you can go DSCR loan, debt service coverage ratio loan. And that is a loan where it doesn't look at your DTI, doesn't look at your debt, doesn't look at your income, doesn't even look at your credit. All it looks at is how much money the rent makes compared to what the loan is. It's a certain type of loan that is very good for expanding your real estate. So the DSCR loan is probably what we'll do on property 4 or 5 all the way on, because I don't want to keep moving. The whole reason this was possible is because we live in all of our properties, minimum of a year, FHA, 1 year FHA, then you can come out of them, switch them to a conventional, do whatever you want to do with them. So that's why it's possible, but we don't want to keep moving around. We don't want to keep living in these random places. We're going to stay in the country house, and then we're going to Florida eventually. Mark my words here, we will make it to Florida. I love Florida. I got family there, friends there, tons of people there. I'm just a guy. I just want to be by the beach. It's that simple. Warm weather all the time. I'm sick of this, terrible weather in Cleveland. But yeah, so the rental is doing good. Repairs, of course, are normal maintenance. That's why I started a landscaping company, so that the landscaping company could cut all of my properties. General repairs, maintenance, stuff, it makes money. It is what it is. So we're going to buy another house hopefully this year or next year. The real estate is in the background, though, because let's say I make $500 to even $1,000 a month on that Lakewood property, whatever it is. That's not going to make me rich. $1,000 a month isn't going to make me rich. That's nothing. I mean, you're not really touching cheese till you're making like 10 G's a month. So, with everything else, fortunately, we're definitely 6-figure household in this place. I mean, between me, my brother, and my uncle, we're well into the 6 figures. So, but it's hard work though. We work as a team, and there's trust with all 3 of us. I trust that my brother and my uncle are going to take care of themselves and make enough money to cover the rent and stuff. And I trust that they got my back on business ventures, which they do. And I'm definitely fortunate for that, but you got to band together with some people. So we touched on the landscaping. We touched on the real estate. It's not going to make you rich overnight. It's a long-term game. If you want to be honest with you, like the biggest, pro of owning real estate is you have renters literally paying off your houses. So by the time my Lakewood house is all done, I'm going to have a $500,000 house now that is completely paid off by tenants that live there for the course of 30 years. Who knows, the house might be worth $1 million, $2 million one day. I think it will be. I mean, Lakewood, Ohio is the best little suburb to live in Cleveland. Everybody wants to live in Lakewood. In fact, there's waiting lists some places in Lakewood. It's a great city. Very liberal, but it's a great city. I love it. I love the people. A lot to do. So between the podcast, real estate, landscaping, I also do, DJ. You guys know that. That takes up a lot of time. The main thing is just trying to put out more content, though. I want to document my journey from nothing to something, and I could have done this years ago because I was a poor kid with nothing, and we've came from. Everybody has a story. We've came from not a lot to something now. If you'd have told me in high school that I would bought my first house when I was 21, I would be like, you're crazy. Buying a house 21, I'm not a doctor, let alone a $500,000 house at 21, So, and my brother now is a homeowner at 21. If you would have told us that a long time ago, we would have never believed you. And it's only possible through really, really hard work, determination, just calculated moves, preciseness, sacrifice, tons of sacrifice. I don't really leave this house too often because I'm just constantly working now. I'm constantly at work. The only time I leave is when I have to go out and do something important. Sacrifice, tons of sacrifice. That's actually the most important thing because you can't get reward without sacrifice. And so, yeah, I mean, the DJing is definitely doing well. Landscape is all doing well. And I just we're going to sum this up here. And, these one-on-ones are going to be quick, but it's just going to be 10, 20 minutes of me bullshitting with the camera, just talking about things that, are on my mind, things that I'm trying to improve on, things that I'm trying to do. It's funny, I actually have a whiteboard over there where I have side quests. I actually have, every year I have my full year goals. I have my 5-year goals. Then I have side goals. I have personal goals. I have wants, right? But then I gave myself a list of side quests, okay? And I called this year the year of 3s. And what that means is that I'm going to do 3 acts of volunteering, 3 acts of charity, 3 passport stamps, 3 networking events, 3 new skills, 3 new friends. So it's years of 3s, right? I'm going to give myself 3 of something, try to just side quest stuff. And I already crossed off the passport stamps. I'm very capable to travel around the world. I've been around the world already. Paris, Germany, Spain, Africa, Algeria. So I've already removed the passport stamps. This year I had the opportunity to go to Vegas. I can go to Portugal. Was also thinking Toronto, but so much work and everything going on, I'm not going to have the time to. I figured that I'm only going to travel for business and save the other traveling for pleasure when I'm rich. And I can just go to Dubai or go wherever I want anytime. So remove the passport stamps. We're not going to achieve that this year. I think that's a reflection of growth right there, to just put the wants aside and focus on what's truly important. Networking events, we've already did 2 of those. Volunteering, I've already done 2 of those. Charity, that's a daily thing. New skills, I'm working on it. I'm going to try to learn welding this year, just to kind of know how to do some backyard tack welds, just to stay, afloat, be a fucking man, or, maybe some precious metals, something like that. So there's a lot that needs to be accomplished this year. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what I got going on and what we're doing. So I'm going to leave here. It's always a pleasure catching up with you guys. Wishful Thinking vlogs coming soon. Wishful Thinking workouts coming soon. More Wishful Thinking podcasts coming soon. We got a lot of really great guests coming on. I got a few guys coming this Sunday that's going to really light it up. Some big name guests coming soon too. That's why we're moving to the studio, is because I have the opportunity to bring some bigger people on, and I want to be able to bring them to something a little more professional, something nicer, come in, a little kitchen, coffee or water, or hang out, So a lot of things coming with the Wishful Thinking podcast. This is Nick O'Connor, as always. Shout out to you guys. You guys have really been supporting the life out of us so far. All of our friends, even random people who are just tuning in for the first time. It's so appreciated, because nothing will be possible without support, especially in the creator world. I'll be upfront with you guys. We're not going to be a Jake Paul, Logan Paul. We're not going to be Kai or whatever these people are. I'm not, a mindless video game streamer. I like Aiden Ross. He's kind of funny, but we're not going to be video game streamers. Our content is going to be impactful. Our content is going to help people. Our content is going to motivate people. It's not that video games and all that stuff doesn't motivate people. I think it's, if you're good at it and you can inspire people through your medium, then that's great, but that's not us. We're going to have real content, raw content, motivational, inspiring, just great content. And I look forward to joining you guys more often on these one-on-ones, because there's a lot of stuff that comes up, and I think that I'll just use this as my method of journaling. I think that's kind of dumb, but I do talk about a lot of things to myself, and I make a lot of to-do lists, and I write a lot of things down. So this will be a way for me to document it, digitally, and kind of revisit these and look at growth from year to year, even month to month, week to week, however I do this. But I just want to say thanks to everybody for your support. You guys are great. Truly. I wish that you guys can share us, like us, comment, subscribe to us, but more importantly, share us with your friends, because we're going to have a ton of different content coming out all the time, and it wouldn't be possible without you guys' support. So without further ado.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Love you all. Take care, my wishful thinkers.